handout packet, it's got 3 of the primary facilities organized. Demsey we're going to first, turn to the 3rd page on the packet. That's the entire appropriation, putting the 2 actions together.
We're talking about this one.
Yeah,
this
that's
one, girl?
Yeah.
Oh,
There you go. Does everyone have one now?
Well, the pages aren't numbered, but page 3.
Should be this one.
we need another one.
Oh, you sent this to me electronically. I downloaded, looked at it.
Well, there's a couple more pages attached to this one that weren't there. But for example, that's a combined appropriation. We've approved dash 252 already. That was $26.5 million, and then 2-256, 2013-256 is up for consideration on the extra $10.5 million that remains unappropriated. But these summary sheets put the two amounts together. And so basically what I hope to show is some of the aspects of what these monies are. The Stevens report is long. It's probably, what, George, 200 pages. So
pretty big, yeah.
Being able to reiterate it looks like there's some commonality between what the administration's proposing for the ice rink replacements with CO2. You don't need to be a technical expert, but you do need to know that Freon's going out of style.
Are we doing direct CO2 or indirect CO2?
It's indirect.
Indirect?
Yeah.
Yep.
So Freon's a thing of the past. The problem is these rinks all use it.
It's a 30 years old system.
Yeah, and it's going to be outlawed in 2020 unless you have an approved. You have to take the opportunity to redo the systems to the latest systems now is probably common. Not to maximize the conversation, but when you get to Demsey, you're going to find out that they pulled out. There's an old exterior rink and it has some swag lighting and some other stuff. But the outside rink remains entirely unpaved, and the lighting system is pretty weak. You also have to know on Saturday, there's probably two circuits of folks. Just this Saturday alone, I was there. Probably at 9 o'clock or 9:30, there's 200 people that probably show up there between skating parents and music, and they switch that out for another about 11.
So we might say how full the parking lot is.
I mean, even with this rink being used, it's a mud hole. You could hardly find a place to park.
Now, they're not planning on putting the rink, the outdoor rink out.
Oh, no, but that's where they wanted to put the tennis court, was right on top of it.
School district to use Romic, but the gate is closed.
The gate is closed, the gate's locked. I was there last week.
The gate and allow the drive through to Minnesota and the use of that front southernmost parking area in Romic
2 weeks ago I went there and spent
for this
in
facility.
Dempsey, actually.
Yeah, and the challenge with going back on first day, you have to walk all the way around in the dark.
For a second. It's across the street, which means that there's traffic.
the opportunity to make them and rejuvenate them is my goal, just beyond fixing them. There's enhancements, user groups are increasing, and it's what it is. I spent a lot of time. Monday I met with PM&E. I've met with every facilities manager as well as toured them all, so I don't think I'm making this stuff up.
This light is the input to roaming, where people would come out from that
What Tim's talking about, there is a parking connection potentially used just to our immediate right. That's where it'll be. But there's no lighting, no sidewalk, there's no back terminals. Ice cream, so we face that property. This front corner, when we go in there, this is where we talk about this proposal. Right after the sign, 35 miles an hour. Right here. Parallel to that fence, kind of where that truck come back toward the street, so that essentially takes out the parking building. Where that blue truck is the old rink. Now, Sullivan, old one, considered the rink, been consumed with parking and the necessary function. This lot, both sides of this lot were completely packed on Saturday.
Oh yeah, I'm not. It's the same vehicle.
You can
And I'll
imagine
just be
40
right
cars
here.
when I was here, parked in here. And if you have tennis right there, where are the 40
So if you
cars?
read down the list, there's $560,000 to do the parking lot and the circular drive entrance, ADA compliant, and the exterior parking lot lighting carries right down to that.
Yeah.
$220,000 for exterior lighting.
Now, I'm sure there's also money supposedly in this tennis court budget for parking and paving and
Yeah.
so there's some duplication there.
Yeah.
Where's your barn?
We don't fall out.
On the seat.
I could be Mitt Romney's dog, just on top.
Didn't stop fast enough.
I was thinking more of a teenage kid flying on top of the van.
There you go.
One for Pentagon. Well, yeah, this one.
So this is
Oh yeah, right there. Last time I was here,
total appropriation.
Oh, that's right. So,
everything lot was full.
But you can,
So in other words, where does everybody
before we
go?
go in, look at this over here, guys.
There's no place to park, period.
Exterior rate.
I mean, the parking connection to the parking lot right now, we're putting in, we've got sort of a gated mud hole, and you know, we can do better than this. I mean, this is pretty cheesy. When you have five,
Bill, the lights don't work either.
well, those lights, you mean?
Yes, they
Yeah.
don't work.
You know, 500 users on the weekend.
So has everybody been here before?
I haven't either.
Good, John.
Did you get this spreadsheet from Andy?
It's right here.
We're on page 3.
Hello.
So, I guess wait until everybody gets in.
Your parks director.
So this connection here is what I was telling about in the van, is the proposed mezzanine connection. The proposed mezzanine connection between the rinks 1 and 2, sort of a fan viewing area. You can see the green space, open space would be built over and built through. So the 1.7 million with, per the architect, that's about $250 a square foot. When you recognize where you're looking down, it would be a area where you'd go upstairs and then look down onto one rink or the other. Apparently O'Malley has that, and then refined concession space, and then my only other, aside from the exterior, is one bleacher section over here. The bleacher section here, it's too low. When you sit in that front bleacher section, you can't see over the dasher boards. This one over here has been raised up by the concrete, so probably could, but the kids couldn't. And then again, when you have 100 people standing, it's done. So again, the combined allocation between what we've already approved, the -252 and the -256 totals recommendation of $8.4 million for this facility to get it right. A complete new ice system, and again, the dasher boards and ice plants. One side of the dasher boards is okay from one rink, and I think it's two that's probably just been done. But this is also problematic for me because of the schedule. 2016, 2017 likely. These facilities have to kind of hang on. They've got some of the old systems, the old Freon. Therefore, the maintenance dollars on the bottom. I can't shortcut the facility. That's all I have. If somebody else wanted to show us around.
I'll do that. So, I don't know how many people are aware, but this facility goes back 1985. We've got 2 rinks. The proposal that we have on the books is for over here on rink 1. You can take a look at the glass. It's bowed. It needs to be replaced. The system needs to be set up where it services both rinks. That side still is in pretty good shape. There's a few other elements that are discussed for 2015: rubber matting, sound system, security system. Some of those things are already in the reserves, but that's kind of the basics for where we're at right now. I understand Bill's got other things. Amanda just handed me this list.
I emailed you that yesterday, John.
Yeah. So I know that there's other thoughts, about utilization of the facility, but this is it's a real basic facility. It serves everybody very well. Lots of locker rooms, which is an advantage to some of the facilities. We don't have enough locker rooms, which is already on the list as well. I think that's been addressed. But I think the other issue is we all recognize is the parking question, and that gets solved also out. When you walk out, you see we took the Cusack rink out, which is now expanded the parking to the west, and then we go south from there. So,
have you seen the timing phasing that is in here to try and keep enough ice available? They've got different years on construction.
Bill's plan, or under the one that.
Well, let's hear from PM&E. When did you build the improvements on the ice?
Well, we had to stagger, and we put each rink, one year, one the next year, one the next year, and it's all about timing and design and scheduling. Depending on which year you start, I mean, we're pushing it at the very edge of being able to do one at all next year, because we're all going to have to want to do it in the summer. That's the least used time, and we can rotate people to other rinks for rentals. So it's got to be in the summer. We're already here in November. I don't know if we can what the time frame is to be able to get the first one done, but it'll be 3 succinct following years, one after another.
The increased cost due to inflation, I suppose, is appropriate in here.
It's already in the numbers based on our plan. Yes, we put the numbers per the year that we were scheduled to do it. Yes.
And here, if the tennis comes in, there's duplication, I suspect, in terms of parking, lighting.
Yes.
That's incorporated in.
Any idea how much?
I'm sorry?
No, there's no. There in the funds for the ice rink portion. That's for the ice rink itself,
Right.
and the refrigeration. So it doesn't include the outside.
I know, but there's no parking in the recommended price for the ice rink. There's no cost of parking improvements or lighting or anything like that.
That's in the project for
exactly.
the multi-sport facility.
That's what I mean.
In the price of the sports facility is the parking lot.
Yeah,
remodel.
but the whole thing.
Yes.
And let me show you that fan viewing option. I talked about that mezzanine connection. So right now, this is it. When you view a game, you go basically there rink side over there is really skinny. There's hardly any room at all, and so the idea with the pass-through mezzanine up above, it would open up the area where the banners are and go all the way across to the other one, so you could come and go beyond that. It would also give you some
About a balcony across here? Or some sort?
connecting the two rinks.
Yeah.
To connect the two rinks. Yeah, in either a warm, quiet area or glass to look down. But you can imagine the view back down towards it. O'Malley Rink has it. It's very cool, and then it takes care of the problem of where do people come to watch? The moms, the other folks
The
that.
grandparents. As a grandparent, I'm
Jeez.
here most weekends, and you have to run between the two rinks when you've got kids, grandkids playing here and that one. It would be nice to have a mezzanine here, so we can actually go and watch the grandkids. Because when the grandkids expect you to be here watching them.
So I haven't seen the mezzanine in anything before. Is this something that is? in
I'm
the
making
public
it up,
works?
Jennifer.
All right, I mean,
Yeah.
It's new.
I had my architect come over here, and he says it's a doable segment between the two facilities. So I have preliminary sketches. I just didn't feel like it was necessary to bore you with them, but I think it can be done. It's $250 a square foot on the upside for
That includes the
construction.
roof across that open
Yeah.
area.
I would like to be bored with those sketches.
They're done by you, somebody reputable.
I'm just very visual.
Yeah.
It would help.
I'll send them to you.
Just so you know, the schools, high schools, 2 different high schools are in practicing right now. The school just went out, so they rent the rinks the first 3 hours after the school.
Yeah.
And they get up for about 6.
Seating is here. And this place is full.
It's interesting to note that all three of these facilities have capital budget requests in our current capital budget. They all request more money from Juneau. We're going back down to Juneau for various dollars supporting stuff. Zamboni ice blades are on this one sometime down the future, and it just seems kind of. I can recognize capital plans, but stretching the capital plan out for 5 years, I don't think we have the time on these facilities.
But, because I don't play hockey. Excuse me.
A lot of people do, though.
No, but I don't, I'm just saying, I'm coming from a spot of no prior knowledge.
Yeah.
When we were talking, you were talking about the ice rinks and phasing them in. And you're telling me that to do what is suggested here is a 3-year project? Is that what I heard?
Yeah, because you have to take the floor and the plant down, and the ice goes away for that whole year, for that summer. When you do one rink, the rinks go away and are not used for that summer while we replace the floor and do the refrigeration system. So you can't take all the 3 facilities down at one time. You have to take them over time so people can still do ice in the other arenas during that time.
But it was my understanding with AO 37.
Yeah.
Different one.
I didn't know that had to do with the ice rinks.
Long day. With this 37 million. With this 37 million,
Sarcasm.
we were looking at either refurbishing or fixing the ice rinks with this funding in all 3 places. Am I correct?
Yeah. Four places. Because McDonald's.
And that's based on the problem that Bill had indicated earlier, and that is we're going to have to phase out Freon. So the reason that we actually had 2 studies commissioned. One was for the ice itself. And that was the Stevens report, and they came up with recommendations as to how to get out of the Freon business and to get into something else, okay? And along with that, not only did they talk about ice replacement, but they also talked about some of the other ancillary things, for example, kickerboards, the glass, etc. Okay? And the Sullivan leaking. So that was one report. There was also a facilities report that we've been having done for the last 2.5 years, where they looked at all of our facilities to include these. And they looked at it from the standpoint of capital items not associated with the ice, but the capital items on the rest of the infrastructure. And so the capital plan incorporates both the Stevens report as well as the studies that we had on the other
And
facilities.
I looked at those on Monday. I wouldn't say we read them in detail, but we discussed it. And the challenge with those studies is some of the work in those study recommendations has already been done because the studies aren't. So you kind of have to read them. And I did as best that we could with Al and Ron. We looked at those facility studies and came up with, you have to take out what's already been money spent on, and then you come up with a list.
Now the study, just remember, the study dealt with protecting the asset as it is, not really enhancing anything beyond what is here.
Yeah, I guess that's my next, because, you know, one of the problems with the library funding was that there was no master plan in place. We now have a master plan in place, and it's now something that we can go down to Juneau with that in place and say, we need funding, even though we have a discussion with the legislators whether libraries are important or not.
They gave us $37 million already, so we don't have to go back down there for more money.
We have the funding to do this.
Yes, exactly.
No, not for the library.
No, not for
No,
library.
but I'm just, what I'm wondering is what kind of master plan, and I'm fascinated. I kind of like your ideas, like McDonald's.
I told you, Jennifer, I'm making this stuff up, but it's not just, you know, a
But I'm
women
just
that-
worried
that
about
come here.
process here, you know, how we, you know, as
Sure.
we're looking.
But we are the process, and this is what I'm proposing without trying to be flippant. It's somebody has to make the studies. We've already discussed the ice. We agree on it. It's, do you want to fix the parking lot? Do you want to upgrade the ice? And do you want to make some facilities enhancement because 500 people a weekend use this place? That's what $8.4 million buys you. It's amazingly how expensive this stuff
And,
is.
oh, I'm sure it is.
The ice
And I'm
plant
just
alone
thinking
is $5 million.
And I'm
Keep
just
in
thinking
mind, we have
timing.
hundreds of kids that use this every weekend, because I'm here some weekends with these kids. It's the future of Anchorage.
If we're going to get them all, we got to...
It's thousands
There's
of them.
hundreds when I'm here, maybe thousands.
Yeah, during the whole weekend, it's the.
No, I'm just, you know, the process. I'm curious on how we're here, where we're at, and how we reallocate.
If we're going to get to the other ones, we got to go.
One of the things that I'd ask, if you have the time, the clipboards that were given to you has some handouts, and in there it has another allocation for that 10.5 million that we're talking about, and it also includes in there all the things that we talked about as far as infrastructure. So you'll see a capital plan in there through 15 as to all the things that needs to be done, and it encompasses both the study that was done by the outside consultant that looked at our facilities, the study that was done on the ice making, as well as the needs of the contractor that operates this facility for us, as well as PM&E's needs as they look at the facility. So we try to encompass everything in there, and it even goes out further than that, but this just shows you through 15. It's just from it looks like this for all three facilities. Looks like that.
Each one of the facilities.
Would it be possible to get a copy of that?
Sure.
Or that way, so you want to see the whole
Talking about capital.
So right now we have 5.6 million.
Well, that's for there's other things. I mean, the list is longer, but the snapshot is to show you, like a look back for 3 or 4 years, the current, and another outlook from there.
Thank you. That's helpful.
And this is adjusted for cost.
Well, it's
CPI,
adjusted. Well, there's a couple things that actually wouldn't. One, you have to adjust for the cost, and you have to adjust actually for the exemption time. A lot of these things they're projections, and they're projections based on the history of the use, the normal wear and tear, and things like that. So there's life expectancy, whether it be rubber matting, sound systems, security, electronics, all those things come into play. But you have to continue to plan for it. At some point, you're going to have to replace it. So
Thank you. That's kind of. Thank you. That was where I was going.
John, what's the Freon alternative currently? What are we looking at to replace Freon with?
Well, there's several alternatives.
I know.
But they're all, they're called, Freon is called an HCFC.
Right.
Okay, it's a hydrochlorofluorocarbon. Okay, now they're going to HFCs. Okay, but there's no literal drop-in, and that's the problem because they're oil-based systems and they're less efficient. Okay, and they're indirect systems, but they still function. But the fact of the matter is there's no true drop-in. We've been dealing with this. I've been dealing with this since 90.
Is what you're saying.
You have to replace it because both HCFCs and HFCs are going to go away. So you have two options. You're either going to go to ammonia. Now, in Europe, they've developed a CO2 system, both direct and indirect. And that's the new technology that we believe, one, costs less and is greatly more efficient and delivers a huge amount of energy. Well, you still do the slab and all that stuff. The point of the matter is then you also get energy savings.
We're running out of time.
That's when we keep
On this one, would you size it for 2 rinks?
Yes.
And
Yes.
replace this one when it got
That's the
ready?
whole idea.
You just have to be loud like this. Walk this way, back to the bus. Thank you.
They've tried 4 times, man.
Yeah.
This is our 4th submittal. It shouldn't move.
Are you guys going to pull up front or you come around back? Or
We'll go up front.
all right.
Slide over. Excuse me. I was gonna move over.
It's all right.
I'm shorter. I think I might have a little better
Where are we going
time over
to?
here.
Ben Boeke.
Whoops. I could have got back
should.
there. I'm
I'll
sorry.
get back there.
No, I can get back
I should have been back there. I'm young and agile.
One out of 2 isn't bad.
So we ought to pick a straw poll. Who's the oldest?
Him.
Oh, I don't think so. I think I am.
I don't think you are.
68.
So is him.
All right, is it cool back there? Is it better? What month? No.
April.
April?
I knew it. I knew I had to be older than somebody.
Is it cooler back? Everybody.
Yeah, it's
Good parking so we don't have people playing in the mud here.
that's good.
Yeah, you know, it's really playing. And I got that information for you. I just haven't pushed the button yet. That's what I suggested. But anyway,
We've also done 2 sports.
we've got a good arrangement with the school district for the park. The access park.
That's what I don't. So it's so forcing people to walk across the street to get into this park.
But see, if they're over there at the school district,
This is Ben Boeke's set up about the same way. Ben Boeke's got rinks 1 and 2. However, the condition reports show there that both ice systems, the ice plant, building system there, and again, a dashboard requirement. Dashboard is basically the ring to the board glass accompanying on the top. Again, the date 2016, sort of the construction season would be Sullivan would come first. That's how they decided to do it from the Japanese perspective. Sullivan first, and Boeke second, and then take the ice down here third. Yeah, last facility versus intensity. When you pull up, and I don't know the driver's name, when you pull up to that, can you pull to the south side of the Ben Boeke?
Sure, here and I'm.
Look at my grandkids in Chicago right now. Guys in Chicago for tournament. It's 8. The one's 14. They play here and now they're on some tournament going to Chicago.
Last page of the packet that I provided that you guys are sites on. It's called Project 80's allocations. It's a little bit more expanded verbiage on the overall of the combined appropriation. And Ben Boeke, you can all read it, but in addition to the ice, of course, there's a need for some changing rooms and visitor stuff that's coming to hear about. These folks are having to get their gear on and robe and derobe sometimes in the entryways. Not so much of Demsey because they actually did it pretty good there, but Ben Boeke, the next ones we're going to, are that the team gear and storage rooms are limited, and then where I want to move up to the south side of the facility exterior is the need, I believe, for some fencing. Last year and the year before, Gomez Foundation, Scotty Gomez, did a really nice job in the outdoor rings. I don't know if they're going to do it, but they're spectacular outdoor use rings. But the area surrounding it is a little bit challenging. You'll see some homeless camps today, and you'll see just a general fencing disarray. So I don't mention it in the line item because I made a mistake in the first part of the presentation. The second talks about lighting. So I wanted to bring your attention to some of the expanded verbiage in the actual AM.
Entrance.
Can we go to the entrance?
Some of us out here. She wants to go there.
So Elvie, the fence line is what I'm talking about. You see
Oh, okay, so we can see it. All right. Okay. Nope.
These two.
Oh, I see. I see.
Yeah, the fence off the woods. Parking lot work, the drainage, the water's got to go somewhere, and then this butts up to the Chester Trail. It's quite a corridor, and so these are the Gomez courts. They really did a nice job fixing all that up, and one of the improvement items would be, of course, fix up this, improve the lighting, and then provide a security fence that kind of blocks out that traffic flow. You can't get by cows, but you can sure kind of minimize that, and then that gives us this compound protected. I don't talk about it necessarily. This one hasn't that.
That looks new. That paint.
Yeah, and I don't reference paint in the suggested items for this one, but I do talk about the. That's not mine.
That's there.
Yeah. So the concrete, this walkway, the EDH compliance requirements. You know, this won't last forever. I don't think we got kind of fire issues there. And so on the second page of that packet delivery talks about the. Right. And then, of course, the lighting upgrade. You know, this kind of stuff is not represented in the city very well when we've got issues, non-LEDs, marginal at best. facility building lighting. It's kind of a new era. All of this. This is the second ring.
I mean, they're all leaking, I guess.
The ground.
Somebody run into that? Is that what happened?
But it wouldn't have.
That's what I talk about new concrete. The second. Yes. So we were just looking at the drainage issue over there.
Slabs and dashes on the north is good. On the south, it's not as original. It goes back to 78. There's certain things about each building.
Here's the second.
Yeah, this is good.
It is from that perspective.
This building opened in November of 75, and actually we constructed the demolished the entire core area. We just one wall went down, no path. We cut it floor. Back in 78. The original was supposed to be a TV well, on top of what's the rank, the group. We never put any heat or anything in story area or whatever. Locker rooms both sides. Issues on the second side people know about. That ring was opened in 78. Both slabs need to go out. The glass and the dashes on this side are all good.
Summary of the actual. So that's Sullivan. So here's the list of proposed items that I talked about. The administration right there, which I don't know where they're coming up with this
You want
stuff.
to take everybody up so they can see the
Yeah, I think so. Sure.
You can go either way. This side of the yard.
I don't propose that. Heating system upgrades?
So this big recap over the top of it.
Smells like hot dogs.
Come on, guys. Warmer in here. Come on, guys. It's warmer in here. Warmer in here. Just put the car. Coffee. Yeah.
So if you're looking at the second sheet of the proposals from ours, this facility here, I talk about $7.3 million for the upgrade systems. There's a lot of consensus when we read those facilities reports. Some of the things have been done, some of them are programmed to be done. But again, the $7.3 million in this room here, we're talking about upgrading the concession stand, the vending areas, $85,000 upgrade to sort of this. Let's get it a little bit better, shall we, and more usable. Downstairs, the ADA entrance for requirements on the concrete entryway. And then there's a big need here for team gear and changing rooms. There's a lot of people that are stripping down right in that front lobby.
Changing the hallway.
Facilities wise, I don't quite know how to do it. It'd have to be up to Ron. I got a couple inputs from my architect that came and looked at the building. There's a large AHS, or who's the hockey? AHA's group has some fairly large room areas down at the end, but not really centrally located to a changing or gear room. But so all the upgrades that you have in here have been Boeke, Sullivan, not
Are all of these numbers from the Stevens report that were done?
No, the only thing the Stevens report really addressed primarily was the ice plant discussions, and they gave us various scenarios on retrofitting, repairing that. So all of this other stuff, as I told Jennifer, I'm kind of making this stuff up, not in a sarcastic way, but I think in an idea that it puts it out to the body, and it's not any.
So what do we do in the sense of, you say 7.3, but what if it's 10.3?
Well, I doubt that it's going to be.
Right, but I'm saying, what if we're short? You know, we're going to put it out to bid. How much is it going to do to replace all this stuff? What if we're short on the funding? What do we do?
Well, even the administration's numbers are sometimes just kind of best guess. How you do that in a room this size is you take the square footage improvement dollars, $185 to $200 a square foot to R&R out of the facility, take by the square footage, and you come up with $85,000. That's about the best you're going to be able to do. Like the $1.7 million at the previous facility. By the time you throw the glass in there, $250 a square foot. You know, they're talking about building schools for $460 a square foot. So, you know, I can't say other than, you know, it's time to get at it. The numbers in the Stevens report, the 5.3 million is an anticipated number of ice replacement in here in 2016. So they've already built in sort of those factors. The one number that I put in here is a 595 at the bottom of this, which talks about bridge maintenance and bridge discussion. There's a tremendous amount of folks that rely on these facilities, and I think that the idea that you would have 36 or 48 or longer many months of maintenance increase is necessary. We're band-aiding the facilities now in the ice plants and the mechanicals.
So those maintenance numbers, John, those come from you or Ron? Those, in order to bridge that gap to 2016, those numbers come from you? The 595?
These facilities are contracted through Debbie Fitzgerald, and they work with SMG to identify things and needs that this building. If there's maintenance money, they deal with finding what their priorities are, and then they go after those depending on the funding that's over there.
In answer to your question, Adam, on the sheet that we handed out, that was attached to the program, there are some numbers there. Those are estimates that was done by facilities folks on the costs of those different things.
Why would you paint this building on the outside, for example, when you put that number on your sheet?
I don't think outside is it.
I thought it was.
It's not your.
Well, there's in multiple years. There's like 8 years worth of plans, all based upon a priority that SMG has issued us through the contract.
This building was 5 years ago.
It's Sullivan. It's Sullivan that has exterior paint.
Yeah, I talk about exterior paint at Sullivan as well.
Got $120,000 in for the exterior paint.
I don't want to debate you on the issue. My concern is that what I don't want to do is we pass this, and then what we've done is we've made promises that we'll upgrade this, we'll upgrade that, and then we're short. If we are short, what do we do?
Well, there's clearly other.
We're not going to do this section.
I mean, my observation would be, Adam, is there's clearly other things that could be fixed up. You know, the idea that you have gear and team storage priorities here is truly that. You know, there's other things you could have. Sullivan, you could have a center mount scoreboard. You could come up with a lot of things that a facility like this potentially would like to have. Again, back to the priority of where we're at and the availability of 37 million split up between the needs. I don't think this is far off.
Okay.
And again, it's a measure of reading the condition reports, not the Stevens report, but a whole nother series of reports, and picking through them. And I think it's a work plan that the municipality can also approach. We talked about taking down the ice in varying phases as well. Some of this other stuff we should probably get at pretty early on. And it's user and fan expectations as well. You know, you got 100 people standing up there, moms and strollers that want to watch their kid play and they can't sit down. I don't find that acceptable.
And the fact of the matter is, we've been short on projects many times. And what we can go that fast, nobody finished it. Not that they say, great, we're in business, but all of these dollar amounts might be your estimates. Nobody really knows how much it's going to cost to do business.
Adam, this hockey is a sport these people love. If you think you've gotten calls before, if we don't go forward with this, believe me, you have to hang up your phone and give it up.
And again, I'm not saying my concern is.
I'm going to do a little segue here. You and I and Bill were on the assembly.
Yes, we were.
When we had pools for people for pools.
Yes, I know. I was pushing
and you pushed.
And I got it, didn't I?
And what do we have now? Facilities that we do not keep open because we don't have the use of room.
We keep
And
it
I
open
just wanna
because
be
administration's
careful.
made a decision
No,
not to make it open.
Service is not.
Okay,
being
kids, don't
used.
fight.
Let's put it to you this way: they ran ice out here 3 in the morning.
Yeah.
I know.
So
That's administrative
3 or 4 o'clock in the morning,
Facility decision.
area we should look at?
Sullivan Arena.
No, I think.
Oh, you want to see what an ice plant?
Let's look at ring two.
What I want to be able
Bill,
to
let's
show
go
you-
to ring 2 here.
Well, 2 things. One, recognize that this side is the least efficient. South side, 1978 was constructed, it's all original over there. Okay. The other piece is this is a single ice plant. Okay. So we're centralizing it. Just as it is today, it's going to be in a location feeds both rings. Okay. On your list, I think, Bill, you've got 2016 program. If I remember correctly, for both, we're actually projecting that this would be a 2015 and Dempsey 2016. Now, we're
And
way behind the
Sullivan
curve,
when?
as Ron. I'm sorry.
And when would you do the Sullivan?
We're so far behind right now in our timing. We're at least 60 days behind where we should be if we're going to go ahead and impact. Now, it doesn't mean we can't do it. It's just a question of how you sequence all these things, and then you have all of Joe's scheduling.
But without being
whatever's going
flippant,
on.
John, we've already given you $26.5 million to start on the ice plants. This is an additional appropriation.
No,
so-
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that whatever the final schedule is has to be considered based on what you arrive at with your final decisions, your priorities, because we had not programmed originally that Sullivan would have an entirely new system. We were actually going to take the mechanical side, leave the slab, leave the seats, etc. So it's a little bit different.
Well, the argument between, and we're not even at that facility yet, but the argument UA and the ACES put out is not that. And why would we mandate a Freon system, John? They don't give you the useful life out beyond 13 years.
Well, I could debate that just because I've done this for a long time.
I get that
That's
part of it,
okay.
but Freon systems are gone. No one knows how to work on them anymore, and you're banking that you're going to put Freon in a tank?
Well, actually, it's opposite. We all know how to work with Freon systems. We've been doing it for 40 years.
All right, let's go, Bill.
But anyway, it's
Bill,
not John.
Freon is
What we
going
need to
away.
make sure of is whatever order we follow, that we can actually continue to use the Freon in the systems as long as until we get it done. We don't want to lose that resource.
Well, a classic case for why I put the maintenance dollars in there. That's more expensive to handle. You got to store it. You got to treat it differently.
But we got to use
The thing is, we don't get a chance now with this way to do this system
You don't
right.
have to tell me.
I don't
This
want
is
to
what I
screw
want.
it
I like where you go.
Really Freon is only screwing it up. Like trying to use the MacGyver approach to an ice system. Yeah, we don't have a MacGyver. We have Sullivan and we have Sullivan.
Isn't that where the AHA is?
Yeah, but what I'm saying is it's a large space. We're talking about the spacing.
I don't know how you do a team in the area.
By the way,
But it makes sense. I don't know where the Jared team is figured. All of them
so this was constructed in 78. We set the slab. This is all original. Since that time. We did the low E ceiling, so lighting, by and large, refrigeration problem we got. Another user going in front, in between these two buildings is a central refrigeration system. Feeds both sides. Okay, the same premises with the new system.
The user groups want gear and storage and his and her changing rooms. Where does that go here?
This is what you have right now. Okay, this is again, this is existing. This is the way it's constructed. These were brought in, and what you have is what you have for space.
What is in that wall?
The dry locker, not common dry. This is one of the questions that's come up in the past.
Okay, so your proposed changes in here is upgrading the ice. Anything with the seating in here?
I don't think we had anything on the seating.
And nor do I.
Well,
Take the woods in the class.
that's all old, that all gets replaced. New slab, new glass, new dashers, keep the dashers and glass on that side, but both slabs go out, and then one central plant.
Yeah, and the suggested is 7.3 combined appropriation for this one.
Now, is there not upgrade of
$5 million
changing facilities or addition of changing?
No. What Bill has is he's addressed it on his list.
Where's he going to put it?
I don't know, 580,000. If you talk to anybody in here on a Saturday and Sunday, they want changing. And the women want it too.
The women go to they change in the bathroom.
Or their car. I don't know. You could potentially blow something out on that side, but it changes your traffic flow badly. You know, on the use. You know.
Right, you lose parking. We can't afford to lose parking.
Yeah, and double deckers. John was right. There is a big team room at the end upstairs, but it's not really conducive
Now,
to.
what is this where the service, the coffee shop, and all that stuff is? Is that what above here?
No. The concessions where we were at, the coffee shop straight out, where it used to be a clothes shop. Right in the middle of that.
What's right up here? Concession.
And those are the concessions for the other side.
You're the first leader.
Cleanest they've ever been.
People will follow.
I'm gonna have some.
Yeah.
By definition, it was.
That's all I got. But this is wet. I mean,
All of these are wet on this side. You know what, originally, that busted this entire thing out. One wall, and all the floors down in the center, and a sound system rack, and that's all there was.
580,000 is not going to get you there. That's what I propose.
Outside, 40-year-old Sullivan reader. The good news is I used to be your height, so I mean, it's probably.
And we can just walk. So I had big visions for this building, but it got so expensive so fast. One of them was an Arctic entry, a glass facade put on the front of this building, so you could enter the arena like all other arenas. But you know, when it went past $4 million, I couldn't afford it. I do talk about getting rid of the landscaping enhancements, trying to improve the exterior.
That's gonna violate Title 21.
No, it won't. But you know, this.
In fact, if you enhance this, you're probably gonna have to create a different area of vegetation.
You want to go across and up?
Well, we can show them the leaky roof down here if you want.
Penny, I got it. Hey, Penny. I got it.
Yep.
Changed everything the last guy.
Yeah, the Jumbo Child helped with that. I think that's a great device. You know, we should stop this for a second because there's just really because you sweat so much. So some of this one in the increased maintenance discussions here, this leaks badly because it's a subterranean and there's slabs out underneath there. So all throughout they've been chasing it. They fixed the east side. We're on the west side now. They fixed the east side, but this has got a funky design. And as I was telling Adam, one of my first thoughts was to put a exterior glass facade entrance and kind of jazz up the exterior. That would have taken care of covering this space, but it goes too expensive. So really it's just back to that. I want to talk about two different ice specifications. The UAA ACES letter talks about it a little bit, but there's two ice specifications. The primary hockey leagues like to play on NHL style or size ice. The NHL rink size is different than Olympic ice. What you'll find when you do that is if you go to NHL ice, you gain about 15 feet around the size and dimensions of this Olympic ring. So what you see with the seat enhancements and the club seating opportunities, if you and this is what this proposes, is going to NHL ice specifications with a brand new ice plant. And then again, it talks about upgrading, and the administration, I agree on this one, upgrading all the seats to more user-friendly. They're breaking, they're cracking. You could do a system where you borrow the parts from down below and use them up above, but I just don't see anything that's less than 6 or 8, 10 years as a solution here. We might as well just bite the bullet and put it all new. The fan and user experiences are great. The Stevens report does speak to the chair and seat arrangement in it, and that's a big item. That's $2 million worth of seats. So the fan viewing, paint the place, get it a little jazzier.
Look at new bleachers.
Yeah, I mean the retractables at the bottom are what you're talking about, and that's all done. That space actually grows when you take away the Olympic size ice and go to NHL ice. You get a more. This is a different shape of an arena. If you want to look at a cool arena, look at Matthew Knight's arena down in Eugene, Oregon. The founder of Nike sponsored that. Matthew Knight's facility has a jumbotron in it, and they have the stadium type seating with that back cup holders. Fan experience is very cool. UA and ACES both asked for wireless mics and remote spotlights and the soundboard discussion in there, and I think that makes sense. Jumbotrons aren't cheap; they're very cool, but it'll be beneficial, I think, at concerts, at UA or ASD graduations, and the UA ACES letter speaks about upgrading Sullivan. I think Sullivan is like PeopleSoft, and it has to go. It's so archaic. We probably could walk over there, but I hope the van driver will take us by there. On the east side of that, there's probably 6 to 7 connexes, and I would venture to say anywhere between $700,000 or $800,000 worth of stored equipment outside. New railings, the floor interim, the booths and partitions, I think, are stored in there. And one of the proposals here is an 8x60 storage building on the east side, $840,000 for covered storage, which will help the concessionaires. If you attached it, the concessionaires could come in directly out of their facility as opposed to what they do now. And then the landscaping enhancements, trying to improve some of that, and then back to the same number of the annual maintenance, which is a little bit less in here because I think this will be one of the first facilities that gets ice in the ice plant. So 259, but it's amazing. I've been working at this all week. It's amazing how fast the numbers add up. And again, back to Adam's observations, they are what they are. So I think that, aside from the early appropriations of the museum, the McDonald Center, museum is $5 million, the McDonald Center is $4 million. There's some HVAC systems at a couple other facilities, and then the last enhancement is taking the suggestions on the outdoor repaving of the outdoor tennis courts for another $1 million, and pretty soon we've appropriated $37 million.
One of the things, you've got the NHL standard identified in here. Just to speak to the overall 12-month operation, every foot you take away on the floor, okay, also has a direct impact on all other events that utilize the building. And Olympic ice, and I say this from experience, Olympic ice gives you the most flexibility for the most events you can possibly have. That's one thing that footprint gives you. And it's not about people wanting 85 by 200. Actually, the minimum standard is 85 by 185. That's the minimum NHL standard. Now, you're not going to find too many of those rinks around. There's still a few. 85 by 200 is what was the standard, as you want to call it. But 100 by 200 gives you the international aspect. Should you want to bring in outside teams, invitationals, that's a magnet to them. And I understand the difference, but when you take away square footage on the floor, that's an impact then to all of your floor events, space you can rent, space you sell, all the flat shows, everything else that goes in here. So
What is this?
100 by 200.
this was this one here is 100 by 200. Okay.
McDonald.
McDonald, and so is Central Peninsula Sports Center and the Carlson Center. The focus on putting this slab in back when we discussed it in 1980 was the fact that it was only the second Olympic sheet next to Lake Placid. Okay, there were only two. This was the second one in the United States.
Yeah, new covered space at Denina for the flat shows, Egan, and then now the new UAA center, which is going to be pretty cool too. I don't know that they'll ever let those deals happen over there, but smaller graduations, and I bet you UAA starts to rent their facility out pretty soon. But you can talk to who you want to talk. But John made an interesting comment about that, and I took away is the number of out-of-state visitors that these facilities impact. The visiting teams, the visiting families, and all this stuff. This is what we show them, and it's a little bit embarrassing, So I'm ready to spend the money and move those facilities along for that outreach, whether it's international or not. Even just the leagues that are coming up here to play hockey and go home and talk about their last good experience. It's better now that the locker rooms have got there some attention and some of the other things. But the scoreboard, folks, is 30 years old. Yeah, we look old, and I feel old, but I think it's not appropriate. So, $10.5 million on a facility this size, that's not a ton of money.
How is the demand now, given the Denina Center? Are we booking this thing up?
Bill would have to speak to that.
The trade show business, all that could migrate to Denina has migrated. The Sportsman show is still here. It's too big to fit over there. The women's show is here because of lack of dates. But the trade show business is kind of been split. It used to be all here because the Egan Center was just too small, but now Denina has taken most of it.
So I got a question. So the sound system here, my first son here in the 82 was horrible, and I heard just now from Debbie that it's the same sound system.
It is.
That's really, really bad. And on Bill's list it says new sound systems, but Debbie said that's not the entire thing. That's just, mics and remote spotlights.
On both
sound,
lists,
I don't
you'll
know
see
what
the sound
else.
system.
Sorry?
On both lists, you will see the sound system
Right, but
identified.
It's not the complete sound system.
The one
correct?
on the administration side is complete.
It is? How much is that?
777.
Okay, yeah. 'Cause I would
Well,
like
I
to see
got
the whole thing.
1.1 between the 650 and the 450 LV. So if you put those two in the jumbotron,
So new sound system, new scoreboard, that's what we're talking about.
yeah, the sound system and the scoreboard.
That's the whole that will be the entire sound system.
Yeah.
Because I'm adamant about using that.
You gotta
When I
be able
don't
to
come,
hear.
it doesn't matter.
But
Other people do.
let's look at the arena. How to get there.
You want to go up or you want to go further down?
You want to go up? Or what? Well, we can't go here.
The bleachers are out. Well, no, if we build the stairs, we'll be right on top.
Or if you wanted to see locker rooms, you can walk that way and take the elevator up.
Let's do that.
Go look by the locker room.
Adam, do we need to close it?
Buy that idea. What happened to Amy?
I went to the VIP room and wanted to check it out.
Over there?
Yeah, back when we were first starting. Yeah, it'll be over there.
So the UAA reference system, 200 screens in there. The Jumbotron, to replace that monster there, that's 30 years old. Yeah, the scoreboard. The Jumbotron, Google Jumbotron, you'll see it.
That scoreboard's original when it was used when it was put in here when the building was ready. So it's older than the building. So.
The challenge with those screens that are located throughout is that they don't, if you look at them from way over here, they're too far away.
Yeah.
And then if you want to look close, you got to turn your head and go, the graduations, the concerts, the whole experience, I believe, is enhanced through that jumbotron. There's many more things that we could do here, obviously, but the entire seat replacement be helpful. One of the proposals is, of course, take the lower section parts and keep fixing the upper section reds. But I think that's a limited life and high labor investment, and the fan viewing, I think, is just going to be enhanced with a better and more ergonomically correct seat. Cup holders are big for sanitation and the fan view and sales, quite frankly. They buy it because they can store it in their seat. Normally they wouldn't if that, but you know, it's going to gain a little bit with the NHL size. Gives you a little bit more room around the edges. Still got relatively flat floor, but you know, John's somewhat correct in the flat floor configuration. The only show I know that uses the whole place, Dempsey and whatever, is a Sportsman's show. I don't know if the women's show goes over there or
So,
not.
Bill, I'm curious. Are you saying replace the Olympic-size rink floors with the NHL?
NHL size.
I like the Olympic personally.
It's not the standard used in the
But the
league.
other problem that we have, I'm sorry to interrupt.
no.
The other problem we have, this whole floor is on piles because of the high water table. Right. So I don't know what that would do engineering-wise, because it sets on piles, big piles. So.
Yeah, but you're making it smaller, so.
But I don't know what that does.
The user groups, when you meet with the user groups, they would like to see a direct connection to the locker rooms, which we came in down below, and I just don't know how that design would work. You'd have to flop the penalty boxes and that over to here so they could directly access theirs at half times or quarter ending. You have to cut across the ice, and it's frustrating for somebody's got to run back and get more gear during the game or something. So that recommendation, design-wise, I just don't know how you could accommodate that. With the NHL resizing, you potentially could put it over there. And there is no sound room, sound booth, or anything such as that. That would be constructed as part of the sound upgrade. So anyhow, it's the best I got, guys.
One other. I'm going to pick on you for a second.
Go ahead, pick on me, John. Quiz me, in fact. I know some stuff.
No. Every coach will tell you something differently, depending on the team he has at the moment. When he has a big team, he wants smaller ice. When he has a small, fast team, he wants the Olympic ice. That's what happens. That's reality. You know, so that.
The only thing is the league standard. You want to research out what they're using in the American leagues. The international rink is different. John makes a point. If we bring international events up here, they're more prone to those larger deals. The figure skaters or the Disney on Ice or whatever perhaps would want some of that, but. Right now, you know, we're not seeing those events promoted.
We've had them here, it's just it hasn't been promoted by somebody. We've had them.
The only thing I'd add is I think both in Bill's proposal as well as what the mayor's proposing is replacing all the seats. Yeah. And it also calls for club seats, and that's something that the Aces had requested. So club seats is a fancier seat. It would go down, I forgot how many seats it would be, but it would be on both sides, and it would be on both sides of the 50
the blue line.
The blue lines. So it'd be blue line to blue line.
800 seats. 400. Okay, as a premium seat.
Would it be
as armrests, cup holders?
Boxed? Would it be like glassed in or boxed?
No. It would be nicer seats than the typical.
You don't lose
different
seats,
styles.
it's just an upgrade.
So,
Upgraded the seats.
in your proposal, the club seats that they're talking about, are we basically making a first class section, or would it be all
it's
around?
more center ice, though. It's a sellable product, more center ice than all the way to. Well, my proposal in there says new seats everywhere.
But their proposal is not these club seats. Your proposal is just in certain
No,
locations.
mine has club seats as well.
It's
For
pretty
everywhere.
much the same.
No.
Just for the sections, the two middle sections, from blue line to blue line. You see the red line in the middle
Yes,
with the blue line inside, and blue line on the other side, so you go to the right, and it'll go to the left.
Isn't any sporting event, the middle seats right at the 50-yard line,
Yeah.
center ice are the most expensive. So the better the seat there, the more they can sell it for, the better club thing, they get more, everything enhances for those people that pay in that middle section. So they'd be club seat, meaning cushioned, different than just the plastic hard like everywhere else. They want to just put them up and make them a little bit nicer. And that's in both proposals, I believe.
The ice plant replacement numbers I haven't read the administration's proposals, but my ice plant replacement numbers are from the administration's, added for the added cost of when you replace the ice based on the timelines. So there's a few dollars either way, but the price goes up the longer we wait to replace. But it is all the CO2 indirect systems with brand new systems proposed in my system with their numbers. I'm not.
John, what size are the ice rinks in the other places that we visited today?
85 by 200.
So they're all Olympic size?
No, 85 by 2.
Oh, not 100
2 in
by
town,
2.
the 3 buildings. Back here. 185.
Center, central census was this year with the Worksession survey.
The NHL side to side, 85.
Figure about 2.5 feet per row. Where's our driver? I've seen this. Make sure it's working. Yeah.
I think those ones might be a little bit bigger than these are now. To get your stuff. Same thing. Right now, that one's
Right there.
Hey, Paul. Why don't we just excavate here and attach it to the outer wall?
Are you going to cover this?
Well, the drawing actually does show the 80 by 60 does connect there, and it goes straight into concessions.
Are you going to cover this or are you projecting?
No, but an 80 by 60 storage building does replace all that.
That's all.
Yeah, if you uncoupled on the end of it, being there, or traffic curves.
Who's that down there? These just homeless people? Yeah, I guess I did, yes. I remember.
See all that building and connected into the concessions.
Thanks. We're on track.